Okay, what we have here is the 1upUSA Recon Upright Rack. They are throwing their hat in the upright rack game. And why an upright rack? An upright rack is if you have a lot of downhill bikes, you know, in the shuttle area. You know, I heard it's all the rage in Bellingham and Vancouver. And what they have going on is you have your racks all equidistant from the car, so they don't get too from the car, and they you know, as you get far from the car, it's a lot of leverage on your vehicle, a lot of leverage on your hitch, and it's just not good. You know, I tried 4 e-bikes on a tray rack, and it's not good. So we have the Recon right here, and what 1upUSA did, they are really manufacturing and kind of branding geniuses. And 3-4 years ago, I reviewed their branded version of the Recon rack, and it was just the Recon rack with 1upUSA badging, packaging, and whatnot. And over here, they really designed the system to their abilities. So what did they come up with? So, you know, big, beautiful construction on this thing. They have these nice aluminum pipes. So I think they made the rack lighter. And then they put their own kind of hinge mechanism. You know, tilting is important in this category, and you know, they have a very structured aluminum. They have and then they have a little red button right here for the tilt mechanism, and they still have a big hitch bolt to keep that thing safe. All right, also these wheel holders are nice, beautiful aluminum machines right now, or machine parts right now, so pretty darn cool. And then the wheel retention, the hitch retention stabilizing mechanism is just a 1-bolt really big wedge that they have. Okay, so we're gonna take it out on a test ride. What they said is 45 pounds per bike, so not ideal for e-bikes. If you only have 1 or 2, it's not, I don't think it's a big deal, because I think that's more the limit of the basket, not the rack itself. And if you're not extreme off-roading, not quite, you know, you're not stressing this thing out. But what we did is we put 3 e-bikes, you know, and then a cross-country analog bike right there, and really put it to the test. Okay, here's a little test drive on our speed bump course. So we are pushing this rack, 3 e-bikes, around 47 pounds each, and 1 cross-country bike. So there you go, big hit there. So it's aluminum, so there's a little bit of movement, more flex than steel, as you can see, but it's not out of control. This is pretty much the limit of this rack. You can probably have 5 regular mountain bikes. So when you have a heavy load and doing some rough roads, off-roading, they want you to put the straps on, and I will do that later at the end of this test drive video. But right here, doing some diagonal hits on this rack, so not only the forward back movement but also the side to side is really stressing this rack. But hey, survived, lived to tell another day. Initially we had an aluminum pin for the main tilting mechanism, very light, but not the best for the job, and they quickly sent us a steel main pivot shaft to make sure there was no problems with it. They probably saw some issues under testing. So here we have the strap, and you can see I'm taking the bumps a little faster, and it is more stable for sure. So these straps are included in the kit, and you just gotta push them, hold them tightly. Oh, no straps on this particular test, but we'll have straps later. So you could they're a little bit inconvenient because you got to strap them on and tighten them, and you can't tilt it when the straps are on. But right here, if you are really stressing this rack, it prevents the backward movement of the rack. It can still go forward, but the back, you know, we just push this thing to its limit. And what I found out is, hey, if you are putting it with the speed bumps, diagonal speed bumps, off-roading as they would say, then you gotta put these straps, and these straps really stabilize it to the rack. We were seeing a lot of forward backward movement when the weight was very heavy. So I would just advise that, hey, if you have a lot of a long road trip, a road trip is almost like off-roading, because you're on the freeway 70 miles an hour and then you hit a bump. It's disconcerting, right? So, you know, strengths and weaknesses. So I would say strengths is the OneUp quality. A lot of their little innovations are very cool. It comes together pretty nicely. Bi-directional on the wheel basket is cool. The tilt mechanism is good. And then the wheel locking, or the hitch locking, is quite handy. Stabilization is very good. They have this nice utility kind of wall now that you could mount your shovel to, and it's kind of a nice OneUp touch that you have. And you know, it's just the hardware quality, machining, it's OneUp quality. So you know, 5 years down the line, it's gonna look the same. It's gonna look just as good. You know, it's not gonna rust and all that. Okay, so weaknesses, I would say that, you know, not e-bike rated is a weakness. 45 pounds. Man, I wish they would say 55 pounds like a lot of the other guys. But 45 pounds, so you're right at the limit. And then the tilting mechanism, really the world has moved on to these hydraulic assisted tilting mechanisms. You know, the Velocirax has a hydraulic downward help for you. And then the Thule Revert has hydraulic down and hydraulic up as well, much like your garage door. So that's really been kind of the trend these days. This kind of mechanism, just like the Velocirax, when you kind of raise it up, you need two people. You want to tilt it down when you are putting the bikes on, but you want it like the ideal distance, or the ideal tilt. So, you know, the bikes are not touching the ground. You know, they're resting on the rack. So a little too low compared to my Velocirax and the Thule Revert on the same vehicle. And this is a fairly high vehicle. So I imagine on a minivan, this would be even lower. And then the other weakness is the strap mechanism. It's a little counterintuitive, but once you get it, it's pretty cool. I was like, how do you do this? But check this out. You know, it's not, most companies just use a rubber strap on the front, on the wheel, on the front wheel and the rear wheel. They have this thing right here. So it's a little bit kind of counter to what the industry is going with, but it's a little bit difficult at first. But once you get this technique, you just keep these straps in their position and in a loop position, and then all you got to do is right here. So what's weird about it is your crank position really keeps it stable. You can even ratchet it some more to tighten it even more. But what it does is two purposes, and I think that's why they stuck with it, is it cinches your rear tire onto the rack and also pushes your front tire down like this. All right, so I did a lot of test driving without the stabilization straps, but I'm gonna put that back on and then go through a couple more speed bumps, and you'll see the result of this little scenario. But let me show you what they look like. So right here, not a lot of information on this rack, so a little bit I was a little bit confused trying to put it together, but here we go. So you have one here, already has a holder here, and then the other one hook is you put it on your hitch, so it's really attached to the vehicle. You can't tilt the rack, you know, once you have this on. But look at that, it serves a very important purpose.